What does it mean when we talk about someone being a difficult patient? It's that feeling you get when you look at your schedule and you say to yourself, "Oh no, not today." You might not be able to say exactly why, but you know who's difficult based on your own reaction to them. There are two different reasons you might be having a difficult interaction with a patient. The first one is just that you're hearing a lot of sustained talk, which is the part of the patient that doesn't want to change. The developers of motivational interviewing used to call this kind of interaction resistance. But in their recent work, they decided that word was too pathologizing. In fact, sustained talk is a normal and natural part of the process of change. It is just one half of the patient's ambivalence. If you are having difficulty with patient sustained talk, you are probably pushing too hard for the patient to make a change. Here are 6 strategies you can use instead. Give people feedback about their behavior in a non-judgmental way. For example, say, "The research says that people who drink this much alcohol often run into health problems later." Remind clients that the responsibility for making a change is always theirs. For example, say, "You are the expert on your own life, so only you can decide what works for you." You can give advice as long as it's said in a neutral way. For example, say, "As your doctor, I need to tell you it would be better if you quit smoking." If you suggest options, always give a menu of choices. For example, you can say, "Here are 3 things that other clients have told me worked for them," or you might have thought of something else. Always maintain empathy for the client. You communicate empathy to them using techniques like reflective listening and affirmation. And always support self-efficacy. Your goal is not to provide solutions to the client, but to help the client discover their own solutions to their problems. Not every difficult interaction is sustained talk. Some clients really are more challenging. This might be because of the way they say things, or maybe they seem to be talking about one thing and you think you are working on something different together. Or perhaps they seem defensive and suspicious. We call these kinds of difficult interactions discord. Discord is different from sustained talk because it is about the relationship between you and the patient. These behaviors suggest that the patient doesn't feel safe with you, that they don't feel like they are being heard, or that they don't have the same goals for your interaction as you do. The most important skill for managing discord is to be mindful of the effect the patient is having on you. You need to take your own pulse in order to recognize that something isn't going right. Then address it in conversation, instead of just reacting to it right away. Often this means slowing down and asking yourself, what is going on here? Once you recognize discord, your goal is to repair the relationship. There are a number of strategies you can use for this. Just as with other challenging interactions, you can begin by reflecting back the client's sustained talk. Sometimes clients seem difficult just because they don't feel their concerns are being heard. Try to identify and relate to their experiences. For instance, you could say, "It is frustrating when you go to a lot of doctors and none of us can tell you exactly what's wrong." You can affirm the client's efforts to manage a difficult situation. For example, it's possible to say, "You have clearly put a lot of thought into this," or "I can see that you are very invested in managing your health." You can reflect back the client's emotion. This is especially helpful when it's a negative emotion, and even when it's something about you. For example, say, "It seems like we aren't on the same page," or "You're feeling like it's hard to trust me right now." When appropriate, apologize for anything you did that upset the client or derailed your relationship. Often this will be about the way you said something or how you made the client feel, not about the actual content that you were trying to communicate. Finally, try to refocus on goals that you and the client share, like saying, "We are both trying to help you feel better as quickly as we possibly can." Focusing on a larger goal that you both want can help you get out of the weeds where you might be stuck on a smaller issue. Nobody likes conflict, but difficult conversations are a necessary part of healthcare. In fact, because everyone is ambivalent about change, You should be surprised if you don't see a little conflict in your interactions with clients. Always remember, the more challenging the patient's interaction style, the more likely it is that they have difficulty getting support in other relationships as well. These are the people who most need your help. Remember, that's the reason we went into healthcare in the first place.